Hello guys, welcome to the news writing aspect of the course, and here we'll be talking about news article writing and reporting. So, understanding what news articles are about. News article, also known as news writing or reporting, is an aspect of journalism that deals with publishing news information to inform readers about events or occurrences happening in the world around them. News article or report writing can be published on blogs, newspaper, journals, magazines. They can also be published directly on social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Neverland, and others. So basically what news writing entail is you creating news content. And when you're you're creating news based on the informations in your world, like what is happening around you. If you're in Nigeria, then you most likely be creating news on subject related to Nigeria. And even that, you can still have to submit it down to probably creating business news that is happening in Nigeria or in Africa or in the global community. So when you talk about news content like activities happening in the world around you, so our continent is gross. As a continent, the entire world is big, so you might still want to break the world into continent. You might break it from continent to maybe some aspects of the continent, then you can break it for that to be a particular country. You can even still have a news content niche down to a school, like universities have their own personal their news blogs in code that centers on activities within the university. So when news writing has to do with creating news content, okay, reporting what is happening in your world. And the many independent journalists use community blogs like Medium, Steamite, Substack, etc. to share their news. Till date, David Undeyin mostly shares news content on Substack, although he also features on other publications. He sends some to external publications, but he mostly uses Substack. So it's not always about you publishing news on blogs or newspaper. No, you can publish news on social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Neverland. You can perhaps just based your news reporting on Medium. So now, what's the ABCs of news writing? News writing, the goal of news reports is to inform the readers about an ongoing event. Hence, it is important that the information is accurate to avoid misleading the readers. In occasion when you're not sure of the event or when you're not sure of some information pertaining to the event, it is best and important to inform your readers that the information is yet to be confirmed. That is why that's why at times when you read news reports, you will see when the journalist said, as at the time of writing this news, they tried to get in touch with a correspondence. Okay, maybe one of the. Oh, all right. One of the correspondents or parties involved, maybe for example, maybe there's a report of a case involving two or three parties. They may tell that as at when they reach out to one of the parties, maybe their numbers is not available. And if they were able to get in touch with the other party or one of the parties, they will report what the person say. So if the information is not coming directly from them, or maybe they need to quote someone, they will quote the person. If they need to get in touch with some people involved, they will let you know if for some reasons they were not able to get in touch with these people because your news report must be accurate. Okay. Uh, you brevity. The goal is to brief the readers about what is happening. Hence, it should be short and concise. Simply go to the point. Uh, Nobody has the time to read 500, 1,000, 5,000 words. 500 is okay for a news content. 1,000 words is okay on some occasions, but mostly news reports should be brief. An average of 300 words, 350, 500, 600 words is okay, depending on the subject matter. But the point is like, make sure that it is brief. Don't include unnecessary information except you are writing other kind of news, which we are going to make mention in this course. Clarity. News articles must be clear for readers to understand. If your news article lacks clarity, then there's no point publishing it. Okay, readers are not reading your news to get confused. They are trying to get informed on what is happening, not to be confused. So it is important that your news content, okay, your news article is clear. So that's what makes up the ABC of news writing. News writing structure. Every piece of writing has its own structure, including news writing. News writing, just like press release, usually follow inverted pyramid structure. That is, you start from the most important information down to the less essentials. You start from the topic, which is the headline. We will analyze this when we get to the analysis aspect of this particular module. Then this way you tell your readers, I mean, your headline, your topic, the one you usually see at probably the front page of the newspaper, or the one that you see at the topmost page of the article. This way you tell the readers what the news is about. Goodluck Jonathan is not a Nigeria president. That could be your headline. Buhari is the new president of Nigeria. That could be your headline. Donald Trump is the new president of United States of America. That could be your headline. Lionel Messi just win the World Cup. That can be your headline. Ronaldo left Man U. That can be your headline. The point is that when people read the headline, they already know what the news is about. So your topic, your headline is just to really let the audience know. Audience who are concerned with that particular news, we want to read. The audience who are not concerned with that particular news, we not bother to read it. Okay, so then the next one is the lead, which is also known as lead, depending on maybe US or British or American English. This is where you brief the readers on the most important aspect of the story. Okay, so it's from the lead that the readers will like, okay, this is more like your intro. Then you have the body of the news where you give the full details on the news, and then you have the conclusion where you close the news. And then on occasions, you may tell the readers what is next if you are still collecting more information on that news report. If you are done reporting the news, if there's something that the readers should know, you can just brief them. But most news content does usually have conclusion. Now, inverted pyramid in news writing. As mentioned in the previous slide, the inverted pyramid centers on telling the readers the most important details of the news. All right, we mentioned that here where we talk about starting from your headline to your lead to the body of the news to the conclusion. So this is important to help the readers quickly get the aim of reporting the news, like the aim or why you are writing the news. So with the inverted pyramid, readers now know that, observe the pyramid beside the most worthy information, who, what, when, where, why, how, important details, and other general information, background info. This also helps them get the key information they need. Remember, the aim of news article is to inform the audience, not to really educate or entertain. All right, I'm not saying that news content cannot be educating, but when that is the case, they are basically just leveraging news to entertain you. News itself is centered on just keeping you informed, not to then you make your decision based on the news. Okay. Donald Trump is going for second round. Donald Trump is the new president of America. Joe Biden is the new president of America. You are not going to do anything to the information. You are just to be informed that, oh, this is the new president of America. Russia launched attack at Ukraine. They are just informing that Russia has launched attack on Ukraine. They are not telling you that Russia is the guilty party or Ukraine is the guilty party. You will know that yourself, maybe by following the news, or you read some kind of analysis, investigative journalism that surround the conflicts. Now, the 5Ws and H in journalism. 5Ws and H is a core aspect of all writing. However, it got its foundation in news writing, making it more important in news reporting. The 5Ws and H has a question: what, where, when, who, why, and how. So what is the event? Where did it take place? When did it take place? The date and the time. Who was involved in the event? Why did it happen? How did the event happen? So this is, in fact, I would say that this is everything that's news writing centers on. When you answer all this, you are done reporting your news. So now let's talk about the types of news that we have. I will not be able to use slide share, so I don't know if you'll be able to see this screen so clearly, but I assume you should. Let me think. Yeah, you should be able to see my screen clearly. All right. All right, types of news. Please, they can be kind of confusion when it comes to talk about types of news and the like, because at times they may be referring to something, but then this is breakdown in a kind of way to know like more like types of news articles in quote. So we have news articles which is mostly we have news articles and the news these are news reports that inform the readers about an event. Now we have news analysis. News analysis, in case of news analysis, the author report the news and at the same time provide further information, okay, background information, supporting proof, case studies, etc. to buttress the event. To buttress the information, okay? And then we have what we call feature articles. This basically leverage news information to communicate with the readers. We will quickly review, okay, for this, which is news article, this is a good example of news article. If you will notice, it is straight to the point. Nothing, Nigeria banks begins enforcement of cash limit policy. And then the journalist Shegila Diadebanwo. Then on the night, whatever, you can say so short, and that is an actual news article. But then there's what we call news reports. And in the case of news reports, the author, okay, reports the news. Okay, the journalist report the news, and at the same time provide further information to buttress it, more like to keep the readers informed on some other things that has happened or this is Hellvision is more popular among Nigerian publications. International publications, they mostly do news reporting or analysis, okay? Depending on the publication style. So now, for example, this is a publication pretty long, and you will see some information that's are more centered on the background of the YC bag relief. YC backed relief raises $3.3 million pre-series A to improve technology for food processing in Africa, reported by Caleb Unamni. All right. Now, for example, you can see when Ikena Nzewi, I'm very sorry if you are the Igbo tribe. I think these are Igbo names. Or for the pronunciation of the name, American and Uzoma Ayogu, Americans of Nigerian descendants, started Relief in 2017. Relief actually in 2017. They had a mission to improve African food security while building a successful agri-tech company. Now, this is background information, okay, on the subject matter. All right, the news itself is about how Relief got their grants. Okay, this is all that we care for. Relief got $3.3 million. However, the reporter decided to do some background check, had more information, quite a lot of, like there's already a link to the report, and in order not to make the video too long and over boring, so you can just simply read through. While reading through, you will see a lot of information uh that are more like the journalist further background check. Okay, for example, there's some kind of previous news adding some kind of quotes. Africa will represent 40% of the human population by the end of 21st century, and FMCG markets will emerge as one of its global relevant industries. Relief is positioning itself as a catalyst for this industrialization while ensuring inclusive success for agricultural stakeholder continue-wide. Now, this report is published on TechAbau. Doesn't that TechAbau does not publish just news articles? All right, it depends on the journalist, the kind of news that they report in. Some other reasons, Disney, for example, I'm not sure what the content will look like. So now let's look at this. Let's see. Yeah, since brief, you can see brief, straight to the point. no extra background check. Maybe there are extra background check, not as detailed as the one of the previous news. So, and then we have the third one, which we call feature article. There's a disclaimer here. Feature articles, some people actually refer general articles as feature articles too. However, when it comes to journalism, feature articles are more like articles that is leveraging news information. Okay, so this is a good example. What the future look like for fresh graduates in the tech industry. All right, I wrote these publications. I'll probably cover some further information on this later. The dream of fresh graduates open to work, blah, 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 blah. After the remarkable growth in the entire tech industry in 2020, tech companies are now axing down their workforce and going as fast, halving their staffs. According to Fortune, more than 120,000 tech companies lost their job in 2020 to mass job cuts. During the COVID-19, these are more of actual information that you see in an article. However, this article is not going to change something new. It is still reporting what is happening. So what it is more like predicting what the future will look like based on what is happening. So it is not the usual auto articles that hopes or aim to, I don't know, maybe educate you. The education that we mean is like maybe teach you a kind of information that you should know. All right, but teach you something new or teach you how to dance, how to make money or whatever. This is more centered on what is happening and exploring the information, okay, to create a kind of future article. So it is centers on news. So for example, why there are headliners in the layoff market trend, Amazon is on route to also ask 10,000 employee and best company. Now, these are, you can see these are reference to a lot of news articles. Like, you can say like this best buy cut job across the country after warning of slower sales. So it is basically built on news articles. Okay, like it is mainly built on that. That makes it different from the conventional articles that you've been seeing. So when you think of maybe you're writing in the news, you may probably a piece of news, you may want to think maybe you're writing a news article, a news analysis, or a feature article. All right, there's still something like maybe investigative journalism and the like we may actually review. All right, those ones you can classify them as feature articles too. If there is more or less the only media that usually comes to mind when it comes to evangelistic journalism. Not the only one, but at least the big name. All right. Now, this is news values. What makes news articles successful? All right. What makes news articles successful? Headline. All right. Wow. The timeline or timeliness. Recent events have a higher news value than less recent events. Okay, remember news is about reporting or letting people know what is happening in the world around them. You will more or less not be concerned on who was the president of Nigeria maybe in 2007, but you will be more concerned about the current president of Nigeria because you live in the present. So recent events have a higher news value than less recent events. So the later the event, the more relevant it is. Proximity. Stories take place in one's hometown or community are more newsworthy than those taking place far away. Where's the president of China? Do you know what kind of government they practice in China? Do you care for it? Ukraine is at war. Do you know their president? Who was the president before Putin at Russia? Was Putin ever a president before he's not a president? This news will be vital, or this information will be vital for people in Ukraine, in Russia, or anywhere around there. But you don't really care for it now. But I'm sure you know who was the president before Buhari, and you probably anticipate who the next Nigerian president is going to be. Reason because it is happening in your country. Now, when you niche down, you will most likely not know the governors. Port Harcourt. I don't know, it's Port Harcourt in the state. I don't know. Give us, sorry. governor, Rivers State governor, you most likely not know the governor of Ogun State. You may know the governor of Lagos because of Lagos prominence. But the point is like, but you know the governor of your state. You will know the governor of the state that you're currently residing. So these are factors that make a news successful. So if you are creating a news, you will want to consider your domicile, where you are staying. You consider the timeliness, like when did the event happen? Event that happens 2 years ago may not really be worthy of creating a news content on. Prominence, famous people and those in the public eye have a higher news value than ordinary citizens. Apology, human being are naturally equal. They deceived us. When Pele died, I got to be aware. But I'm sure somebody died in my current state that I'm not aware of. Pele, sorry. So these are factors that you consider. So like the news on prominent figures, people were aware when the daughter of Buhari did a marriage, but people don't even know when my elder sister, I don't have an elder sister to start with. When my older brother or elder sister got married, or your elder sister. So famous people or those in the public eye have a higher news value than ordinary citizens. That's why everybody wants to know where Ronaldo is going after leaving Man U. But there are a lot of people that actually leave their club that nobody knows. People don't even know where Rooney currently play. People think that he has retired. Now, the uniqueness or the oddity, a story with a bizarre twist or strange occurrence, man bites dog instead of dog bites man. Somebody is having sex with an animal. For heaven's sake, why? So something odd or often newsworthy, and quite a lot of people will be interested in it. The story that impacts a large number of people will be more newsworthy than those concerning impacting a small number of people. Everyone was concerned when ASU was on strike. However, there are institutes that has been unsaid that nobody knows, but also concern the entire university students. So that means that it impacts a large number of people. That's because it impacts a large number of people. When you want to break it down, if OAU is on strike, people may still know, and that's because of the university or I don't know, maybe big figure in the country. I don't know. I don't care. But if Crapple is on strike, I don't mean to be insultive. I never know when a polytechnic is on strike. And I know they go on strike. But I know people usually know when universities are on strike. And they know maybe some big universities, maybe UI go on strike. Not always. Maybe if you have people concerned. So when stories impact a large number of people, it tends to have more value and newsworthy. If hundreds of people died in a train or in a plane crash or in a car accident, it will go more viral than a single person dying, especially if the person is not famous or prominent. And then we talk about conflicts. If it bleeds, it leads. Story with strife, whether it is actual violence or not, are more interesting. Everybody likes sad news. I don't know. If people fight now, it may still trend on Twitter. So stories relating to conflict generally kind of draw people's attention. EFCC arrest somebody. They killed somebody somewhere. People want to know. They kill somebody's different from somebody died. If the person that they killed is not popular, people will still want to know. We talk about cases, some cases that's some murder cases in the US that actually spread beyond. Like, for example, the Black Lives Matters. It is built on a murder story of an individual who is actually nobody in reality. At least I didn't know him, but now he's more popular. So that kind of situations, stories can only conflict. Now let's talk about the trendy news. Trendy new fascinating. I coined this myself because I think this is what's news writing centers on all this reporting. So when you're creating your news, you may want to check, is the news trendy? News about Elon Musk will always trend. He is the richest man in the world. Why not? Elon Musk is buying Twitter. Wow. People want to know what is up. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world now. Oh, Elon Musk is no longer the richest man in the world. Bernard Arnault is. What's up? And Elon Musk overtook CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and is now the richest man in the world. The world is like there are people that the news is actually following. Okay, so that kind of news will most likely be trendy. Apple product release. When is iPhone 15 coming out? I mean, as I think that Apple is telling us that they released 14, people were already looking forward to when Apple is going to release iPhone 15. So those kind of news, I don't know. The second that they step their leg out, they will be trendy. World Cup happens once in a 4 year. So why not? It should trend. Champions League, when it comes to the world of football, these are kind of things that people are looking forward to. News, new. What is new? US selection. All right. Somebody's going to emerge as new president of the United States of America. Definitely it's going to be new. Nobody knew Joe Biden. Oh, sorry, I knew he was the former president, but the majority of people don't know. And why should they know? Honestly, it's not bringing cash. But now you will want to know maybe when he's money because you know the influence on the world. The Ebola virus outbreak, we've not actually seen this before, and we know how much it can be. So the news is going to follow something like this, COVID-19. In fact, Google adjusts the entire algorithm on anything relating to COVID-19, just to tell you how much power and weight these kind of things can be. New award. Somebody just won a Ballon d'Or. What usually call Ballon d'Or. So somebody, hey, Ronaldo just go Ballon d'Or. Then newsworthy, new, uh, newsworthy new. Who is the richest man in the world? Then we can only have a one richest man in the world. So if somebody new is now the richest man in the world, why not? The news usually follow it. Fascinating 5G technology. Russia versus Ukraine war. The truth is like this is not the only war that we've had so far. Like there's still the Israel-Palestine, Israel-Pakistan war, I think, ongoing. But then the war is centered on the Russia-Ukraine war. And why? It's just fascinating. And that's because of the Western interest. Ban on Twitter. How possible? Buhari, how did he do it? So some kind of news are fascinating and they kind of create a trend, making them newsworthy. And how should I put it? Stands out. So when you're creating news article, you may want to consider. Now, note some news can fall in these three categories, like Elon Musk purchasing Twitter. I had never thought it in my life. Like I could assume several things that Elon Musk can do, probably taking out to the mask and the like, but then I don't imagine him really buying Twitter, although it's usually tweet on it. Twitter seems too small for Elon Musk. Ronaldo, definitely going to be new, trendy, fascinating. Same thing for Messi. Argentina is not Messi is not like that's in the first time that Argentina is going to go like World Cup. But this time around, it is Messi's first. And of course, Messi Ronaldo trendy, fascinating. So some news can fall in the three categories. I hope this video is not long. When it comes to sourcing for news information, since news reporting has to do with delivering information to your readers, it is important you know how and where to source the news. There are two ways to do this, direct source and indirect source. Directly from the source, when you as a journalist, directly from the source, when you as the journalist is present at the event, then you are getting the information directly, not from a third party. If you get the news directly from the source company websites, if you get the news on maybe on their website and you are trying to create a news on it, then you are getting direct from the source because that are the websites. Okay, for example, when Apple is releasing the products, they are going to write it on their website in form of a press release. And it is an Apple website, so you can quote them directly for it. If you are present at the event, you can quote the people at the event directly. Like there's no third party involved. You witness it. When you get the news, maybe the company send you their brief, maybe then you get the news from the source. When you get the news via a third party, already published news reports, most Nigerian tech companies usually get news relating to tech in the global industry on TechCrunch and maybe some other big publications. News reporting requires a lot of investments, quite a lot of cash, quite a lot of hands, quite a lot of investigations and the like. So when you can leverage some big publications to get your news, there's nothing wrong. All right. So you can get news from probably already published news reports on the big publications and you try to recreate it for another publication that you work with for your personal news blog, for your social media, wherever the case may be. If you get the news from the television, social media platforms, etc., then that's a third party. Maybe a broadcaster is reporting an event Okay, maybe the broadcast media were present, and you who is going to write news article want to create a new subject on it. You are not getting from the source, you are getting from a journalist. Okay, so they must themselves could not have gotten it from the source, and they may. Many Nigerian companies are writing on wars related to Ukraine, Russia, and God knows that we don't have journalists there. Or maybe I should go and confirm. But the point is that it can be the case. Or I say most time they could have gotten it from other big publications if they get it from Punch. I said Punch. There's actually original Punch. Or maybe they get it from Forbes or they get it from Shah Reporter. Harry Potter most is still an Indian publication. Maybe they get it from uh Al Jazeera. Sorry, Al Jazeera. I mean, maybe they got from Al Jazeera and the like. So that kind of thing you can create news from a third party. Maybe you get from a friend who is connected to the party. For example, if a friend told you that since everything is offering an internship program, your friend is not a member of the Insight Executive Council. He probably may not be even working at Insight. Then there's a third party. So most time those are kind of news that you call hearsay. So if you are creating a news based on what your friends say, you must ensure that you quote your friend, okay, because you were not present. Okay, you did not get the news directly. But if I told you that Insight is offering an internship program, then you are getting that from the source because I am a prominent figure in the executive council. So that means that, I mean, then you can quote me directly, or you can quote me directly, and I'm connected to the source. But if you get from your friend, then your friend is not exactly the source. So this is important because when you're creating your news, you need to be able to know how to let the audience know where you get the news. All right, and this will let your audience to know that, oh, this news has been so valid that you got it directly from the CEO of the company, or this news is still more like an hearsay that you got somewhere. All right. So you talk about captivating headlines, all right? Nigerian advertising regulator sues Meta, formerly known as Facebook, for 13 billion naira. Really, Nigeria can sue Facebook. How come? Nigerians spent $11.6 billion on foreign education in 3 years. I thought there's no money in Nigeria. People will want to know what's up. Where do they see the money? Apple to release iPhone 14 in September. Check out what is new. I already said anything about Apple is on the center face of the world. Uganda worst Ebola outbreak in 2 decades is over, World Health Organization declared. South Africa TV host Trevor Noah pulled out of the Daily Show. If you're a fan of the Daily Show, you know that Trevor Noah is actually the show. In fact, his head is the logo of the show. So, where is he going? Who is not going to replace Trevor Noah at the Daily Show? That kind of news. Currency fluctuates further, put crypto enthusiasts in dilemma. Now, I bought some things here because they are worth some of the things that actually add more punch to the news. Like the $11.6 billion. That's quite a lot of figures. And that's quite some big figures. Trevor Noah, World Health Organization. When I was a student, I don't know the quotes what the organization has. Every second are opportunity that people have. What the organization said that Nigerian people are living below $1 billion. What the organization said that there's no money, even something that's not related to what this organization. So these kind of things make your news more captivating and people want to upgrade it. Now, example of popular news publications and categories. Even when it comes to news writing, you will most likely have your centered feed, okay? And you can, in case you already have areas that you want to be reporting on, you may want to check out some publications that create great news, all right? And then you can follow. Forbes centers on business. Doesn't mean that Forbes does not publish anything or sometimes say for business. But then when you mention Forbes, you know you are looking forward to something business related. That matches is also more focused on business. Just South Africa entirely centers on business. When it comes to tech, you think of TechCabal, TechCrunch, TechPoints.Africa, Entertainment, TMZ.com, People.com, BlackNigeria.com. When it comes to sports, you think of Go.com, TheAthletic.com, Politics, WashingtonPost.com, ShareReporters.com. Then in general, then you think of Punch Guardian. Punch Guardian usually used to be centers on politics, but now they are more into all over the places. They are more all over the places. So as a news reporter writing news articles, it is important that you know area that you want to focus on. You will be able to note the terminologies that evolve or that plays a okay. The journalism industry is no longer as rigid as it used to be, that you must report in a particular way, you must follow a particular style, you must do this. It is changing as each publication is trying to create a kind of unique voice, standing themselves out. All right. So you talk about adjectives to use when you're writing catchy headlines: beautiful, innovative, brilliant, epic, essential, excellent, feels, fantastic, free, gorgeous, great, horrific, horrifying, important, inspire, kick ass, killer, lousy, valuable, useful, ultimate. Um, I'm going to add a link to all the adjectives related to this, and you'll be able to download this part, the PDF for this file, for these slides rather. And most of these headlines, I rather want to switch to the positive aspect. That's why many of them are like this. So I prefer something positive. Doesn't mean that, in fact, bad negative words sells better. I just choose it like that. And most of these adjectives are more connected to the business world and some other aspect. So you can explore further in the link I'm going to attach. It has about 107 adjectives that you can use to spice up your news reports. Now, we are going to review these three news articles, but I'll do that in the second video because I think this is already too long. And things you should know when writing a news report. All right, I think we're almost done. Since you know when writing a news report, ensure your headlines are captivating. It inspires readers to be interested in the news or in your reports. When your headlines is boring, nobody cares. And this is what we make people want to read. I judge book by its cover. I think people should judge book by its cover because what's not with you? Why are you going to create good cover for us? It won't cost you much. I'm just kidding. I don't usually judge book by its cover, but then the point is like when you take the word literally, people actually judge book by its cover. You should judge book by its cover. Don't judge book by its cover, but then you should be conscious of it and try to create good content, because people advise us that not judge book by its cover does not mean that we don't judge book by its cover. So ensure your headlines is captivating, is arresting. Have a great intro. It will intrigue readers to continue the report. After they get your headline, then the next thing is to look at your intro. If your intro is cool, they will want to read what is up. Oh, is Elon Musk buying Twitter? Why? How? Where is he getting the money? Fun fact, Elon Musk actually bought some money that he used to buy Twitter for some reasons. If you are going to finance, you can read on it. Connect with your readers. Remember, your goal is to keep them informed about the recent events. You can't achieve them without connecting with them. When you know your readers or imagine who your readers are, you'll be able to create something great. And that's why if you're creating a news report related to the America and you are not familiar with the America world, you most likely create rubbish. Even somebody in the British will most likely create rubbish about America because the two words seems a little bit distant or far. And somebody or most of the people that have been creating news related to Nigeria or Africa in general usually don't stay. I mean, these global publications, as people usually say, don't actually even stay in Africa. And that's where there's a kind of issue. And people will tell you that they should not narrate a story for us. So as an African, you most likely know what is up. You know that you did not see zebra. A kid in America or perhaps in France will be thinking that zebra is probably beside your house, or you probably have never seen zebra in your life. So this is something that you can achieve when you know your readers. So ensure you connect with your readers and keep them. So there's no way you can keep them informed when you did not create a connection, where there's no connection. Carry your readers along. Is there prior news that you are referencing in the news reports? Code the events and make it easy for your users to check. This is even more interesting and a lot easier when it comes to news writing because you can add interlink. I'm going to give an example here. Now, for example, even though this is like a feature article, you can see that I'm referencing the news. So when my readers see this, maybe they just are interested in the article. They will be able to know what is really up. Okay, like what is up. So make it easy for your readers. This is easy to achieve for those writing these articles. And since you're writing these articles, so why not? If it makes your readers to know what is up, they can follow up. You can see a lot of interlink. These red links leads to another public to the report. This takes them to LinkedIn. Maybe you want to check the person who they're talking about. So You can see people wish a petroleum which has just lowered the price for its products earlier this year is raising the price of its bike by 500. So there was a previous news when they increased their subscription fee. Now there's another news that they are actually laying off some of their talents, some of their employee. Then the journalists who did what? Quote the news and refer the reader. So carry your readers along with the prayer news that you are referencing in the news reports. Quote the events and make the readers for your read it easy for your readers to cross check. Use rich expressions, employ literary devices, and use unique expressions to make your story stand out. New York Times, The Economist, and other global communication and other publications are well known for their unique style of writing. I'm a big fan of New York Times, and that's because of their sweet headline. In fact, I think I remember that I quote it in some of my publications just to tell you how much having a very great news headline, okay, can make your story or your news article stand out. Here is it. All right, unfortunately, the dropout is drawing tech companies in a pool of lost revenue. As a New York Times story headline goes, when your boss is crying, you are the one being laid off. This is simply a news article. And the information here is just because the headline is so sweet. When your boss is crying, but you are the one being laid off. This is like an article. So where to publish your news? You can work as a freelance or employed news journalist for publications like Punch, Guardian, Forbes, Entrepreneur.com, etc. You can also start your news blog and publish your news directly. These are most famous Nigerian bloggers started their career, including Linda Ikeji. You can share your news on publications like Quora, Reddit, Medium, Substack, etc. Even on the Institute, they shares most of this news investigative journalism or report on Substack. Wait, let me see if I can quickly set that. All right, this is a publication we got Vanguard. I did not see all. However, this Substack, all right, and the West Africa Weekly, okay, which is David's publication, is primarily on Substack. You can see, where is it? The African Report, CNN Africa, Newswire Nigeria, Business Day Africa, the others. So the West African Report itself, okay, by David Mbeng, which is his publications, everything is on Substack. He does not have a personal blog where he publishes his news. So there is no kind of excuse that you must start a blog before you can publish news articles or the likes. You can share it on Medium. You may decide to center your news story or news reporting on Medium. All right. So this West African Weekly is Substack.com. You can also delve into freelance journalism, sending news reports to news publications, to news platforms. It is great for those into investigative journalism and writing news features. On this particular one, I'm going to set some examples because I've explored some of it. And I think there's even much more money there if you know how to set or get good news. And before we go into analyzing this, which is going to be another video, just note that the assignment is right. A factual news, like an actual news, real news, not fiction. News reports or article in any industry of your choice, nothing less than 350 words. Or if you are writing it on the business world, make sure that you're writing news related to business. If you are writing news related to health, make sure it centers on health, get the terminology related to the industry, right? And then submit it to academic sets, the things.